Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Lure Fishing Project. This is the 2025 Boat Grand Final from the guys and girls at WATA in Western Australia. It's taken a little while to get to this one, but it's finally here. And I've got to tell you, it's a very cool episode. Something a little bit different. We got a little bit of a cameo at the end. We had an absolute standout, cracking big bream, which didn't end up on the podium, but was definitely worth having a talk about. So you'll have to wait right to the end to hear about that. We'll get through the other teams and then we'll have that little cameo just to round out the episode. So I hope you enjoy this one, and let's roll the intros and we'll get into it. Here we go.
Welcome to the Lure Fishing Project, where Australia's best lure anglers share their tips and stories to help you catch more fish and have more fun on the water. Here's your host, Andrew D.
All right, for this one, let's just run through the details for it. So 82 in the fish activity wheel on the Saturday with a major bite period at 11:59 a.m. through to 2:29 p.m. Low tide was at 8:05 a.m. at 0.06 and high tide was 11:08 p.m. at 1.09. On the Sunday, slightly less in the fish activity wheel at 70 with a minor bite period at 5:50 a.m. through to 7:20 a.m. and the major bite period in the back end of the session at 1 p.m. through to 3:30. Low tide was at 9:28 a.m. at 0.09, running up to a high tide at 11:27 p.m. at 1.02. So like I said, this one's taken a while to get out. It was a very interesting competition with the winners taking it by quite a margin in the end, but there was a few notable fish caught, none less so than the big bream, which we'll bring out in the end of the episode. So look, I hope you enjoy this one. Let's get into the angler interviews. Here we go. Okay, so coming in third place, we have Team Sexual Chocolate. Now, they dropped their 4 fish on the Saturday for 2.02 kilos. Backed it up on the Sunday with a cracking bag. Biggest bag for the comp, 3.550, which included a kicker fish of 1.14, giving them a total of 5.57 kilos for their 8 fish. And third place. With me, I have Michael Summit. Welcome back to the show, mate.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. I nearly gave you second there.
40 grams off.
40 grams, 50 grams. 40 grams to equal.
Yeah.
Well, you would have biggest bag. You probably would have got it. So there you go. Mate, look, a nice little round out to the year. I know that you said in pre-fish, which we'll get into, you did get some good fish, so it could have been a lot closer. But having said that, definitely a good wrap up for the year.
Oh, definitely. Especially sitting 10th on day one. Really happy to finish third overall.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense because I did have a look overnight and I didn't remember seeing your name, and then obviously ended up in third place, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, well, let's roll around into pre-fish and practice. What did you get up to?
Okay, so I went down to Albany twice, so it's about a 5-hour drive from Perth. So
Wow.
I went a month before the comp because that was the closest tides to what we had. One of the main things I wanted to see was how much water there was on different places like the racks and that sort of thing to see what options there were.
Mm-hmm.
And went out to the racks. I saw there was only a handful that had enough water on them. All of the shallower racks were all dry. So I knew that if I was going to be fishing the racks, it'd only be a few strings that can be fished, and then to focus my time on the river. All of the flats were going to be out. So that way I knew sort of where to spend the time. So I went down for 2 days the month before. Didn't really get anything spectacular. Biggest would have been maybe a 33 forker. And then lots of fish that were around that sort of 28 to 30 tip. It's hard to get anything bigger than that. So that was that. Then I went 2 weeks before the comp and managed to, on one of the days, put together a pretty good bag. It would have been about 3.5 kilos as well. On the first day, I just sort of put the electric in at the ramp and just worked my way up until the top of the system, and just to sort of see what was going on. On the first day, didn't really get a great deal, but on the second day, did well. Got a 40 forker, a 39 forker, and then a few 34 forkers.
It sounds like a good day.
It was a good free fish, yeah. So that sort of gave me a bit of an idea in regards to what I wanted to do. But yeah, and then as it comes to the comp day, it always changes a bit.
Absolutely. And what were you able to focus on? Were you focusing on racks or edges or deep, or what was the sort of patterns you're looking at?
Pretty much the drop-offs. My plan was there was heaps of fish at the racks, but they were all around that sort of 300 to 350 grams. So I did get a decent one out of the racks, except to fish them all day and you might get one or two decent fish. It's not really a comp winning plan. So based on that, it was go to the racks first up, get a bag, and then just focus on targeting bigger fish for the rest of the day. So pretty much focused on the drop-off, going from the, that secondary drop-off where it goes from that 1 metre to 2.5, and just fish that all day.
Okay. And I guess the good thing about that is there's a chance of replenishing because you're not sitting right in the very shallows. Yeah, it's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
All right. So I take it you've got, a 3 kilo plus bag. You must have been excited for the final. You'd be going, we're a chance here.
Yeah. We were sort of saying to ourselves, if we can get a top 5 from this bag, it'd be a really good comeback. And obviously all you'd need is the people ahead of you to not get good bags, and then, anything's a possibility. But I knew it would be tough, especially I knew David was on good fish. Alex was fishing the rivers as well. So it was just down to chance from there.
Yeah, fair enough. So what was your main plan then?
So, first thing we did was hit the racks, got a bag, did that sort of within the first 15 minutes, I'd say. But we fished it for about an hour just to see whether we could get anything better. On the first day, we pulled 2 500-grammers out of the racks and then got one good fish off the bridge. And then there would have been another fish that was about 300 grams that we couldn't really upgrade. And second day, same thing, went to the racks, got our bag. We didn't get anything big from there. The biggest would have been about 400 grams. So then we went into the river, fished where I caught the fish during pre-fish, didn't get anything from there. So then we just slowly worked our way upriver. The plan for me was I had Jeremy fishing plastics just on the bottom. I was fishing bent minnows all day.
Okay.
During the pre-fish, all my good fish came on bent minnows. And every sort of comp that you look back on for Albany, the big fish that are caught are always caught towards the end of the day on bent minnows. So anywhere from that 11 o'clock onwards, people always get a good fish here and there on them. So I just stuck with that all day. If I got something, good. If not, no loss. So did that. So we went not too far, maybe about 3 or 4 bends upriver from the bridge. And then we came across one stretch where I pulled an 800-grammer, and then we continued fishing, didn't get much, so we redrifted again. Then we got a kilo fish.
Oh, wow.
And then drifted again, and then we got the 1.1.
Okay.
So it was all within a sort of 100-metre stretch.
Mm.
Pulled a few other fish upriver a bit further, but we sort of upgraded them with these ones. So all of the big ones came in one small area, and it was probably about 2 or 3 bends up from where I got them in pre-fish. So they moved up a little bit from the 2 weeks before.
Yeah. What's the spawning pattern over there? Do you know when they spawn?
Yeah, in the Swan River, which is in Perth, it's always around October. Normally Albany's a bit later, except it was a bit weird. When I went down the 2 weeks before the comp, I was still catching some fat fish that were milking, and I didn't really see any spawning schools the month before or the 2 weeks before.
Okay.
But then when I went this time, there were still fish that were milking, but there were also some really skinny fish.
A bit of both.
Yeah. So I didn't really come across any spawning schools, but it's, usually the end of the year.
Yeah. What's the rainfall been like over there in the last little while?
They've had quite a lot. The week or so before the comp, there wasn't much, except I know that about 2 to 3 weeks before we had about 30 mils and over a few days. So there was a bit of heavy rainfall and the water was still quite dirty.
Yeah. When they spawn the black bream, they go looking for the right salination levels. So that's why I asked the rainfall. If you've had a fair bit of rain, it's going to push them down river. If you've had less rain, they're going to move up river. So in round terms. All right, let's dial back into some of the techniques. So if we talk about you're on bent minnows. What one were you throwing and how you're working it?
It was that clown colour, the pink head with the green and white, and throwing it up sort of as far as I could. I was keeping well off the bank. So then that way it was landing maybe a metre or two away from the shore and just slowly working that off the drop-off, but working it all the way to the boat because it's quite known that you could be fishing surface in 3 metres in Albany and fish will still come up and hit it. So
wow.
Just focused on really slow retrieve. I've got the power poles, so put them down, just fan a few casts out, working it slowly, move up another 30 metres, poles down, and just work it slowly again.
Just do it again.
Yeah, because it was quite windy on the second day as well. The boat was drifting pretty quick, so just wanted to capitalise on working slow and making sure the pauses were good.
Yeah.
Even when I got distracted talking and that sort of thing, that's where you'd normally get the hit. So
that's right.
Yeah, so the longer the better.
Okay. And are you on the 86 or the 76?
76, yeah.
76, okay. All right. And then, Jeremy, you said, he was on plastic, so he's fishing the bottom.
Yep.
What was he running?
So he just had mixed up a few things. We had some creature baits on, but overall he was just sort of working a bloodworm grub in Z-Man grub. And what we sort of found was because with the bent minnow, you might get a fish every hour and a half, so it's hard to tell if you're on fish or not. But with the grub, we found there were pockets where he was getting a few more bites, he was getting smaller fish. So then when we started finding those pockets, then we could really sort of slow down and work it well.
Okay.
But otherwise, you're just sort of fishing until you get bites and then you'll stop and then work that area thoroughly.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so I take it from that the fish were generally congregated in smaller areas.
Yes.
And did you find that they were often in groups of the same size? Like it feels like that was the way?
Yeah, well, I found the bigger ones were all together. And it was hard to say because on the live you could see fish everywhere. But there was only pockets where they'd be biting. So, like, for example, when we come up to that bank, the first time we went over it, he pulled about 3 or 4 fish that would have been just legals, pretty quick. And then I got the 800 grammer pretty quickly after that. So then as we kept drifting, the bites dropped. He wasn't getting any bites on the plastic. And then we came across another pocket. We pulled another good fish then. And that was when he started getting bites as well. So they were sitting in pockets.
Okay. Interesting. What sort of lines and leaders were you guys running for the day?
I used 0.6 braid. I think it was the Varivis Max Power or something like that. It's a green one. And then I'm using 4 pound of the Daiwa Finesse, the pink spool.
Okay, as your leader or straight through?
Yeah, not straight through, so I just use that as my leader.
As your leader. Yeah, cool.
Just about 2 rod lengths. I was also using the Shine Away.
Nice.
So whether it made a difference or not, you never know, but it's, adds a bit more confidence to your fishing as well.
100%. And look, in the interviews I've done since Shine Away was a thing, we've had a few winners now and a few place getters. So I don't know. I don't think it's hurting, that's for sure.
That's right, yeah.
So there you go. All right. And last thing, I'm keen to know what sort of rod that you like for your bent minnows.
Yeah, something long and stiff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so the ones I've been using mostly is I've got some Temple Reef rods that I've got. I don't think they're making them anymore now, but they're a 7'6", very fast action rod. And just to help get those casts a bit further and keep it up on the surface a bit better.
Yeah, fair enough. Very, very good.
Yeah, other one I was using is a edge rod, and yeah, just nice and stiff. It's light. So, and then reels using the 2500 Arity Daiwas.
Nice. Very, very good. All right. last thing before we shoot off from the fishing, mate, was there any ones that you drop any big ones or didn't you have any sad moments?
I think on day one we had one fish that, I don't know, sort of came up to the lure and turned off it. Looked like a good fish. And on the second day as well, there was another fish that was similar sort of size that came up to the bent and was looking at it and turned away. That would have been another kilo fish.
Yeah, right.
So they were there, but couldn't get any more.
It is what it is, mate. It is what it is. All right, very good. All right, mate, that's a great rundown. Tell me, for third place, what did you get to take home?
We got $700, a prize pack with all of the sponsor tackle. It was sort of, most of it was done by Tackle West, and they provided a bunch of lures and bits and pieces. And then we got a Shimano reel to Vanquish each.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's really, really good. All right, mate, last thing or a couple of things before we shoot off. Is there anyone else you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
I'd like to thank all the guys that fish the events. We've got a good group of people there, good organisers as well for the events, and everyone's trying to make the events as good as we can and grow the events. So just wanted to say thanks for everyone for fishing them and putting their effort in. And it's a lot of work to fish all the events and people getting time off and everything like that. So if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have them. So really appreciate it.
Yeah, and likewise, like I know that yourself and Alex and Joseph and David, like you guys put in a lot of effort to put these shows together. To put these competitions together. I find it interesting. You three are sitting up the top there.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah, I don't think it's any advantage from being a organizer, but
probably more likely it's a disadvantage because there's other stuff you have to do.
Oh, that's right.
But good. I was pretty happy to see David up top there. I know he puts in a lot of effort, so that was very cool.
Yeah, definitely. He did really well.
One last thing, I know that you're putting the calendar together as we speak. So, are there any surprises in there?
Yeah, not this year. Kayaks, maybe. We're trying to work out a couple of venues that might work, but we've only got 4 or 5 venues here that we can fish. So it's just a matter of trying to work out when's the best time to run them and that sort of thing. We generally do run the events at similar times each year at the same places, more so because that's when we find that they fish the best. So just trying to set it up to make it as enjoyable as we can.
Yeah. I don't know whether you can say this or not, and given that this won't come out for a little while, mate, have you got any affiliate Hobie rounds over there?
We do, yes. So I know, don't have it in front of me at the moment, but yeah, there will be some.
We do. Yeah, that's good enough. All right. Look, as always, mate, great to chat. Thanks for jumping on. Congratulations on a great finish for Sexual Chocolate. And I'll probably talk to you again next year.
Sounds good.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Okay, so coming in second place, I have Team Stinger. And they dropped their 4 fish on the Saturday for 2.95 kilo, which had them in front with a big brim of 1.110. Backed it up on Sunday with another great bag of 2.660, giving them 8 fish for 5.610. And second place, I have Alex Griesdorf and Ben Oakes. Welcome back to the show, guys.
Hey, Andrew. Thanks for having us.
No worries, guys. Look, 2 grand final shows in a row. And I've got to say, you were looking good after day one. I thought, they'll get it again.
You might have jinxed us.
I was going to say, I left you nowhere to go. Never mind.
Albuny's not a very happy hunting ground for me. I don't think there's another venue that we fish that I lose more fish in than Albany. It's always a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde system for me.
Right. And I got to tell you, like, as much as people like to hear about good catches, they do like to hear about people losing fish. So this is going to be a great show.
Well, we were pretty lucky to have both of that this weekend, weren't we?
Exactly. All right. And the other thing we'll touch on is you guys took out Team of the Year. So I think that's pretty great. Let's cover that now. So tell us how that went down in the end.
Probably a bit fluky, Ben. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I'd sort of given up on the idea, to be honest. Yeah, I didn't think we'd get it. We were too far away, I thought. But yeah, the guys leading, Dan.
Would they have 4 points, I think, on us? Yeah, I think Dowley had 2 points on us.
Yeah, right.
And Dan and Dowley obviously both live in Albany.
Right.
To leapfrog those guys by 5 and 3 spots is pretty difficult to do.
Yeah. But you got it over the line.
Yeah, somehow.
Very, very good. And with that one, what did you get to take home?
Steve from Duff Rods. I was actually talking to him on Monday night, actually. Yeah, he's sending us all over, sending me and Ben a couple of duffs for Team of the Year.
Nice.
And Joey's got a duff coming for Kayak Angler of the Year. So not only does he dominate the East Coast, he's dominated the Yaks this year as well over here. So.
Smart ass.
He's dominated everywhere.
It'd be nice if you East Coast guys listening to this podcast can, show him that, like on the weekend, just go out and take him out and get him absolutely pissed as slammed. And then he can't fish for shit. That's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it.
Just go and ride him off on Friday night, the pre-fish night, and then he won't be trouble all weekend.
That's a good goal. The other thing we could do is just tell him it's at the wrong venue.
Well, yeah, you could do that.
That would work.
Yeah, send him somewhere else. It probably might be the only way to stop him.
He can fish, that's for sure.
He can fish. He can fish, a very, very skilled angler, and work stuff out as quicker than anyone I know at the moment. So there you go. All right, let's talk about you guys. Tell us about pre-fishing for this one. What did you guys get up to in preparation for this?
Well, Ben went camping, so...
I was camping with the missus, so yeah, I didn't help much there.
Nice. Did you fish while you were camping?
No fishing.
No fishing. Fair enough. All right, so it's all up to you, Alex.
I made a trip down a couple of weeks before the event, just sort of spent a whole day fishing down around Albany, and the Calgan and the King, and sort of out and about. I hadn't actually fished the system for 18 months, so it was kind of good to just spend a bit of time on the water. I got some areas that I know over the years that do pretty well for me, so I caught some fish. I went straight to the bridge in the morning when I first went to pre-fishing, and I got nearly a whole bag off it in about 10 minutes and got smoked a couple of times. So I was like, yeah, there's definitely fish here. And then I sort of just spent my day fishing all over different places.
Right.
I actually went and fished upriver, way upriver, up by the rapids. I fished basically the whole river and then out in the inlet. So I covered a lot of water and sort of earmarked a few areas where I was finding fish. Real key was like around the points in the river where the kind of flow would come around.
Mm-hmm.
But also being spring into summer, and they've had a really late rainy season in Albany, I kind of figured that the water would clean up a bit before the event, which it did. It was 3 or 4 degrees warmer and probably 20-25% cleaner than the 2 weeks before that I was there.
Yeah.
So I think it gave me an idea, but I wasn't overly 100% confident.
Yeah.
But when the conditions of the event actually happened, it to be fair, it didn't really suit fishing down in Albany. I was really surprised at how well it actually did end up fishing because of the conditions.
Yeah, well, talk to us about that. Like, what were the conditions leading into it? What were you expecting?
Well, when I pre-fished, it was a run-out tide, same as the comp time, but it was a really low tide. And then it sort of turned at around 10, 11 o'clock and then sort of pushed in. It was like 1 meter one tide that had a real big push in the afternoon. Comp time was very similar. The middle of the day was, I think, the low tide, about 11. I think 10 and then 11 both days.
Yep.
But the water, it was really, really low. It was running pretty hard for the first couple of hours in the morning out. And then it sort of stagnated for a few hours and then started pushing in. And you could really see the clean water pushing in. Even the color differences in the water between Saturday and Sunday in the lower parts of the river was a big stark difference.
Okay, so you've done your pre-fish, you've gone down there. What was your plan leading into the comp? What were you going to do?
Well, being we were about, I think we were about 2 or 3, something like that. We were about 2 or 3. I said to Ben, we'll go and spend the first half hour of the day at the bridge and see what happens, basically. And yeah, I think we got, what did we get? A couple of legals. I think we got a bag off it pretty quick. And then we sort of started venturing our way up the river. I mean, just fishing, really, and sort of pick fish up here, there. on all different sorts of baits, didn't we, mate? Didn't we, Ben, on the first day?
Yeah, well, you got the whole bag off the bridge, and I don't even think I landed illegal fish until we went upriver.
All right. Did you net, though? Like, did you get some in the net for him?
Oh, I can net him, yeah. I hooked a mull away, like 70, 80 centimetre mull away, but other than that, yeah.
Fair enough. And what were you targeting with? Were you on mussels or you on plastics, or what were you running?
I was fishing mainly a crab and then a little pygmy mussel, little Joey's mussel. I can't remember what you were fishing, Ben. What were you throwing?
I was fishing a craw, which is what the mulloway started to take. So which is crazy, but yeah, I put that aside. I think I was fishing a sprat, and I think I got a couple of fish on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure all 4 fish were yours, Alex, that time of the day.
Fair enough. So then you moved off upriver, I think you said?
Yeah, sort of probably about 8 o'clock, 8:30, we started just fishing our way up the river. And yeah, I think we upgraded. We came across one spot, we upgraded a fish there, and then just kept fishing along and sort of I think we had a bag of about 30 forkers by the time we got up to the island. And it was pretty quiet. Like, there wasn't a lot of action, wasn't a lot of bites. And I said to Ben, look, in pre-fish, I did catch a kegger right up the river. Let's go and have a quick look up there. It's pretty still, it's sunny, so let's go and have a squeeze. And we got up there, and there was kind of nobody in the section that we wanted to fish. They were further up. So, yeah, we pulled up. We basically didn't get a bite for about, half hour?
I don't think I got a bite until we got up there. I think I fished for hours and hours without a bite.
Right. It was Team Alex.
It was.
We didn't catch a lot of fish there for a couple of hours.
We didn't get too many the first day at all, really.
Nah. And then we went up there, and Ben, I was throwing a baby vibe, and Ben was flicking a brim prawn, just trying to get like right up in the shallows and the shade and stuff like that. Yeah, after about 20 minutes up there, next minute there's a big commotion in the water, and I see his fish, and it's going straight for the trees, and somehow Ben sort of wrangled it out, and we landed it. And I think that was like a 33 or 34 forker. So that upgraded, I think, like a 26 forker that was in our bag or something like that, which was a good upgrade. And then, yeah, we sort of fished along a bit more and got nothing. And I said to Ben, let's just fish back down, but let's fish down around the corner where the flow would be kind of coming around the corner and that. And then I think Ben caught a couple of fish on the corner, and then he was actually, I think, retying.
Yeah, I didn't get too many fish, to be honest. I think that one bite that I got was that one good fish for 2-3 hours.
Right. Ouch.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't full of fish. There wasn't a lot of fish.
And the thing was, it almost busted me off as well, because it kind of shot sideways. Because after not having a bite for 3 hours, you start to drift a little bit. You're still trying to concentrate. And yeah, you know how they pick them up and they just sort of shoot away with them? Yeah, shot sideways into a bush. Yeah, I was lucky to land it. I grabbed the spool and just kind of slowly and it actually come to the surface. When Alex looked up, the thing was flapping on the surface.
Yeah, right.
I actually thought it was a lot bigger before we put it in the net. I actually thought it was like a proper kegger, like a big one. Just because of the commotion and how nuts it went.
It was energetic.
It went absolutely ballistic. So, but yeah, we got that. And then, yeah, I suppose the highlight of the first day was not long after that. We were fishing a bit further downriver, and I was throwing one of Joey's pygmies. And I'd thrown up near a bush or near a bit of tree and sort of had it halfway back to the boat and then lifted up, and it's just big head shakes and just takes off. And we saw it run. I'm like, oh, Ben, good one, get the net. And it's ran straight into the tree. So it's in the tree. I can feel it in the tree. So we're like, fuck it, let's go lecky over there, and we'll try to get the thing out of the tree, knowing that it, most of the time, they just break you off. Because the tide was so low, the tree was kind of overhanging the water. It wasn't necessarily had branches in the water. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when we crashed the lecky into the tree, and Ben's trying to lift up the tree, we're trying to get my rod underneath the tree limb so I can get to the line, and the fish is just out the other side of the tree, just flapping about on the surface, just fucking swimming. And I'm like, Ben, the fish is still on.
Right,
fish is still on, and he somehow managed to hold, drop my rod through underneath the tree limb without putting it in the water, and then hand it back to me. And I sort of walked out the side of the boat and I said, oh, it's still on. Let's get the net. Netted it. And I think it was like a 38 forker or something like that. It was a 1.1 kilo fish, and it had one treble hook left in its mouth. That was it.
Oh, that's crazy.
It would have been so good to get that on video because it was hilarious. But good plug for the your Laurens Ghost though, because the scissor part's like a really good platform.
Okay.
So like I was standing on top of the lecky.
Ouch.
And then I'm like lifting this tree up, and Alex is yelling, break it off. And I'm looking at it, it's as thick as my arm. But yeah, we managed to lift it out of the water, and then he's passed his rod through, and I've grabbed it and then kind of just passed it back to him behind me.
I said to Ben, yeah, we were sort of high-fiving like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. And one of the other boys was just on the other side of the river watching the whole thing go down. And he's like, fucking hell, you blokes. It was pretty funny. To be fair, I've caught a few jaggy fish over the years, but I reckon that one was probably one of the best jaggy ones I've got. Sometimes you get them out of some absolute shit, and it's just lucky.
Yeah, it was a little bit jaggy, but I don't reckon it was as well, because you've seen it like get to the front of the bush, and then you knew it was going to go, and I seen your back to drag off. The thing went under the bush. There was no way you were going to stop it on a joey mussel. And then because you didn't basically hold the spool or freak out, your line was not taking anywhere. I didn't even think I changed
my leader after. I think I looked at my leader, I'm like, fuck, it's all fine. And I showed it to you, you're like, yeah, no, that's all good.
Yeah.
So it was pure jaggy, a bit of jagginess there. But those are nice when they happen. You take those. Absolutely.
Team effort.
So, yeah.
Absolute team effort. One fish.
I don't think we got another upgrade the rest of that day, did we?
No.
Right. And that was it. So what time of day was
Probably
that?
Around midday.
More or less.
Yeah. I said to Ben, look, we haven't lost it today. Like, I reckon we got around 3 kegs. Like, it's not a bad bag, but it's not world beating in Albany, because there are some big fish there. But yeah, we went back to the weigh-in and sort of, it sounded like everybody had a pretty tough day. You know, a lot of like 2 kilo bags, 2.5 kilo bags, and even less.
Your result was good. You're on top of the board, I'm sure. Got to take that. All right. Leading into the Sunday, what was your plan? Like, you're just going to rinse and repeat, or what were you thinking?
Pretty much, yeah. I think we sat at the bridge a bit longer on the second day. We got to the bridge, and I think, second or third cast, you got a 32, 33 forker, like, straight away. So I think, we got a fish straight up, and nobody was even near us. Like, nobody had even got to the bridge yet. We already had one in the well. And then I think not long after that, I got a big one for the second day. Yeah, I reckon within the first 15 minutes, I think we nearly had a bag. If we didn't have a bag, I think we had 3 in the well.
And Ben, you would have been super excited to put something in the well straight up.
Yeah, well, I think I got 2 in the well quick, like straight up with the sprat. Yeah, so it's kind of almost a surprise. It was like, oh, I'm catching fish today. Look at this.
Okay, so you're fishing the sprat on the bridge. What sort of jig head are you running in it?
I was using a 1/16. So, we're saying we've got flow, but it's really...
It's not like what you guys get.
It's not really like East Coast style flow. Yeah. It's just a little bit of movement. You can see it.
Yeah, fair enough. I was going to say 1/16 over here on a bridge, you'd have to be slack tied.
But then you got to also remember, though, that the bridge we're fishing is probably only 1.5 meters deep.
Oh, okay. Well, that's relevant too.
Yeah, so it's only... the deeper pylons are maybe 2 meters on a high tide. Yeah. They're not very deep.
Okay. And is there much cutout around them? Like, given there's not a lot of flow, are they pretty flat, or are they still got a big cut around the bottom of them?
Around the back and bottom of them, they do, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
There's a bit of sand cut out around them, but there's a bit of different ground around it. Some parts of it's got a bit of weed. Other parts of it's got like some shell, rocky sort of bottom. And then other parts of the bridge has got just sand. So there's a little bit of, there's different structure, like different bottom structure of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I was going to say it's classic for the bream because they can probably get whatever they want.
Yeah, the bridge was pretty hot early. I lost a big one early. I ended up punching the deck because I was pretty annoyed with myself. And Ben's like, oh, don't punch the deck. You'll spook all the fish.
And you might hurt your hand.
It was a proper one, though.
It was a big one, yeah. Would have been a kegger. Would have definitely helped us. would have definitely made the event a bit more close, put it that way. I don't think it would have been enough to overtake Dave and them, but we certainly would have been 700-800 grams more than what we had probably.
Yeah, it would have given it a good shake. And what were you on, Alex? Were you on crabs back then, or?
I was fishing crab. I pretty much just fished the bridge with either a crab or a mussel, and I let Ben throw all the other stuff at it. I just stuck to the same thing, and we sort of had a bit of a pattern. Where they were sitting was a certain part of the pylons. It was like trying to drag your lure. It was all about how you made your cast to present it right. And, I mean, there was times me and him were casting like 10, 15 times at one pylon trying to get that right cast in. And funnily enough, then you'd get the bite. It was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Very good. All right, you've got 3 fish in the well. You're leaving the bridge. Where are you off to?
We just went up the river just a little bit, eh? Probably about a K or just under a K.
Yeah, something like that. And I think Ben got illegal straight away. It was our bag. And, yeah, I think right while you were putting that in the live well, I got another legal.
Yeah.
And then I was like, so this one's a bit bigger. We might not bother putting that one in the well.
I just put the cull tag in its mouth and just dropped it in. And he's like, oh, hang on. I'm like, oh, okay.
Fair enough.
The rest of our day was pretty uneventful, mate. We didn't really catch a lot of fish. We caught a lot of, like, rat legals, like 28 to 30 tippers and stuff. But, yeah, we really struggled to find any size, really.
Yeah, okay.
For the whole day. I think we ended up upgrading with like 15 minutes to go, maybe 50, 100 grams, and that probably got us over the line for second place.
Yeah.
I mean, the one joys of having a bass boat, we were probably 15 minutes in the river fishing while everybody had left and got a fish doing it. So
it was the only bite that we got on that entire flat as well.
Yeah,
Pretty
we got
sure.
one bite, one upgrade.
Okay, this is good. Upgrade is good. Oh, there you go. All right, if you had to do it again, would you change anything over the weekend?
I probably would have persevered with the bent minnow a bit more, which seemed to be the tactic of the big bags on the second day, pretty much.
Bent definitely seems to produce some wins there, but it is, I reckon it's an undoing for a lot of people as well.
Yep, they stick with it too long when it's not happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Michael, who got a 3.5 kilo bag, they were getting one big one come up an hour. That's basically what he said. So in hindsight, we had a bag. I could have thrown it for 2 hours. If I got 2 keggers to come up and eat it, it's a big bag, you know what I mean? But you could also throw it for 3 hours and not raise the scale, which I got a few boils on it, but no, I didn't get any big ones come up to mine when I threw it. But
okay,
I have had Albany where, sometimes you just got to commit to the bent minnow and you got to fish it.
Yeah.
I'd like to learn how to fish it properly because I think I'm a complete retard with it, but that's me.
Well, I'm told that Albany might be the place to do it anyway. Like sometimes they go off down there, I'm told. All right. Is there anything else we should discuss before we move off the fishing? Did we miss anything?
Not really. No, not really. I mean, to be fair, we didn't really have that much eventful stuff. It was just, we sort of stuck to our plan and altered a little bit here and there, but it wasn't anything out of the normal, really.
Yeah, okay.
It was definitely a bit of a grind, definitely for me as well. I think I only ended up, not that many fish over the weekend. I think I was lucky to get one fish in the bag both days.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a grind.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Let's move on. Look, it was good enough to bring you guys back in second place. What did you get to take home this year for second?
What do we get? We got some
$900.
We got some prize packs from Tackle West and some sponsor stuff. I think we got a couple of rods from Shimano.
Yeah, nice.
And those marine vouchers as well, the marine vouchers.
What else we get? That's it, I think, from memory. We got cash, Shimano rods, tackle pack.
The vouchers.
Those rods are nice too.
The Artiestas?
I took one out of the packet and
Are they the Artiestas or the Ascensas?
Artiesta 7'2", 1 to 3, I think.
Yeah. The higher level ones.
Yeah.
Very much like the infeeds.
Yeah. Last thing before we shoot off, is there anyone you guys want to give a shout out? Yeah, to wrap up for the year, really.
Probably just Alex for fishing with me again. Thanks for that.
I enjoy fishing with Yokesy. We get on well, and I think the biggest thing is, like you said in the presentation the other day, There's not many people probably that fish as hard all day as what we do. That's a really good part of it. And I mean, for myself, I'd like to thank probably Ben and my wife for letting us go fishing all the time. Probably not so much this year, but over the years, they let us go fishing a fair bit without cracking the shits too much. And all the sponsors and the crew who look after me, Laurens hooking me up with electronics and stuff on my boat.
Yeah.
All the other competitors as well, they definitely need to keep turning up.
Absolutely.
No, that's it.
It's not much fun if you're out there on your own trying to win.
No.
Fair enough. All right. Well, guys, congratulations on another what turned out to be a great season for you guys. Take out Team of the Year, second in the AC, and we've had a couple of chats. Great year. Congratulations. And hopefully we can have a few more next year.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew.
No worries, guys. Thank you. Okay, so finally, coming in first place, we have the Tidal Tale. Now, they dropped their 4 fish on the Saturday for 2.910 with a big brim of 1.2 kilos. Backed it up with another 4 on Sunday with a big bag of 3.520 with another kicker of 1.050, giving them a total weight of 8 fish for 6.430. With me, I have David Bennett and Rory Laurens. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I kind of got your name right. That's why I laughed.
Hey, good job. Close enough's good enough.
Fair enough. As long as you're here, how good's that?
Yeah, exactly.
Look, cracking result for you guys. Like on day one, second place with 2.91 and a pretty decent kicker, which probably would have been looking good for Big Bream, I'd imagine. Yeah, you must have been chuffed with that and then backed it up with an even bigger bag on Sunday. So cracking event for you guys.
Yeah, super happy with the results. Obviously, have to be happy when you're in first, but was probably more stoked that we just in such a unique way. So we'll get into that later, but yeah.
We will. And it should be said, like, you had a great bag on day one, really big bag on day two, winning by over 800 grams. I reckon it's pretty good going. So, all right, let's move into pre-fish and getting ready. What did you guys do to get ready for this competition?
We didn't really get a chance to pre-fish. Rory and I both work fly in, fly out in mining. So time off is one of those things where we have to book it a fair bit in advance to get time off together. So we managed to do that for the comps and the grand final. But we both lived in Albany. We both used to live here, both used to fish together. So we had a bit of a plan and we just said, you know what, this is going to be either a hit or a miss. And there was no in between. The tides were super low. I think day one, low tide was 8 a.m. in the morning at 0.11. And then day two, it was like 9:30 or something at 0.15. So there was just no water. And this system is just a vast amount of flats and then obviously 2 rivers. And I just knew that it'd be busy. So we wanted to be somewhere different. For us, that meant fishing in the harbour. So
okay. So then if you're fishing in the harbour, what did you have tied on? What were you taking into the competition?
To be honest, because we hadn't pre-fished, we had so much stuff tied on. We had sprats, we had jerk baits, we had cranks, we had spites, we had mussels, like blue lip baits, outback brimmer baits. Like we just had everything covered. We just weren't certain what the go was going to be. But our biggest one was surface lures between bent minnows, also bent minnows as well. And that's what we started with. And yeah.
All right. So then let's roll into Saturday morning. Tell us about how it started for you. How'd you go about getting the first fish in the comp?
Well, I mean, so we qualified for the grand final quite like low in the starting order. So because we were off 19th, we ended up doing the start, calling out start for everyone. And we kind of got to see where everyone was going. And a few of the boats went over to the sort of area that we wanted to go to. So we're like, well, we'll still go there. And we saw they were all in the oyster racks. And we wanted to stay out of the oyster racks. And we had a few follows on bent minnows, but they weren't really like committing. And we just had the idea, or Rory had the idea to put a sugar pen on.
Okay.
It just, action created action, and they were climbing all over the surface lures. We did get a few good hookups on bent minnow, but the sugar pen was the key.
Okay, so what made you decide that the sugar pen would be a go-to? Why'd you choose that rather than a bent minnow?
They sort of weren't properly committing to the bend. They were sort of coming up, having a look, but weren't really going all the way. And there was just a little bit of like surface movement. So but I'll try like a slightly smaller presentation, something that resembles a prawn a little bit more, sort of tying with those weed beds. And yeah, first cast had a fish climb all over it and properly commit. And then, led forward the rest of the morning with, the fish just properly wanting to eat that presentation.
Yeah, right. So which sugar pen were you on, the 55 or the 70?
So I was fishing one of the Dawa slippery dogs. Yeah, the 60 mil size, just in like a dark sort of prawn colour. Yeah, working it quite quick, stopping it, and then, you just see all the boils behind it, and then, tease them until one of them actually commits to it and see line pull tight.
Nice. Now you have to refresh my memory. Is that the one with the stingers on the back or just the trebles?
Yeah, so they come with the stingers. Yeah, I was just fishing one with trebles.
Okay.
Yeah, the sugar pen didn't seem to quite work as well. They've tried one for a little bit, but the slippery dog, just the action of it, how it holds the water. Yeah, they just seem to really key into that.
Yeah, very nice. And you said you got fish early on that?
Yeah, all pretty hot early morning bites, but it stayed consistent for almost the entire session for us. It was just sort of, trying to weed through the smaller fish and trying to, get those upgrades that we needed.
Yeah, right. Okay, so tell us about filling your bag and the first few fish. Like, was there lots of small fish or was it a mix or?
Mostly just 34, because like we pretty much once we made that change over to surface lures, so slippery dogs and sugar pens, pretty much Rory put the bag together very quickly. It went from, we had so much action around us with bait movement, it was absolutely glassed off, like a lot of movement, but no wind movement. And it just went from there, really. We had a pretty big hot bite. So we'd already had a bag by, 9:30?
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
So we were really confident. And then I had a big hook up on a bent minnow, or on a force ziggy.
The ziggy, yeah?
Yep. And I pulled hooks on it. As I was hooked up to it, and it was just screaming drag, Rory just had this monster just climbing out of the water to get on his slippery dog. And that ended up being the 1.2 kilo fish. And even though we're not intentionally fishing the weed, we're fishing the edge of it where the sand is, the fish want to go back to the weed and they're pretty good at burying themselves in it. So it was just a matter of lecking over to it and coaxing it back out of that weed, because we're fishing quite light lines. We're fishing 4-pound leaders.
Okay.
So fish of that size in 2 meters of water, they've got some go to them.
Absolutely. So basically, you hooked up on a big one, and then Rory hooked up on the 1.2, was it?
Yeah. And then once we had that one in the boat, we did go for a bit of a drive and check some deeper channels, but the water wasn't right. And I decided that I wasn't comfortable leaving fish to find other fish. So we circled straight back. We basically just chucked a U-turn in the channel, went straight back to this similar area. Then we got another upgrade. It was like a 35 orca.
Nice.
So, end of day one, I think I had one fish in the bag and Rory's were the other 3.
Okay. That's right. It's always a team effort.
Oh.
With the fish, with the takes, were they hunting it down or were they waiting for a pause, or how to cast?
Yeah, you'd see the boils sort of behind it. So you'd work it pretty quick, just get it skipping for sort of a metre or two, stop it, and then you'd see sort of the fish come up under it, boil around it.
Mm-hmm.
And then sort of after each one would have a go. If you'd see that they'd miss it, just give it a little tick just to keep them interested.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'd come back and eventually I would see a line whip tight. But not striking as they're trying to eat it is huge, pretty hot too when you see a good fish climbing all over it and you see the lure disappear. But waiting for that line to pull tight and then setting the hook on them.
Okay. And on day one, did you guys, apart from the one we just spoke about, did you drop any other fish that would have made a difference?
No, I don't think there was. There was fish seen that were quite big, but it was one of those things where they were either having that lure or they just weren't. A big part of it was, being able to visually see the fish. It's not just boils, like you can see the fish under the lure. So you're sort of knowing when you need to pause it, when you need to dip it under.
Okay. And do you guys have a YouTube channel, the Tidal Tale? Is that correct?
Yeah, we've got a YouTube channel, sort of like social media stuff as well. I say Instagram's probably the best.
Okay. So the reason I brought that up, is there going to be a video on the grand final?
No, it's pretty hard to film the events when you're both competing. So it's one of those things where you've got to do one or the other. So yeah, we made the call not to film that. Wish we did, but I don't know if we would have got the same result if we weren't just 100% committed to fishing the competition.
Sure. And look, the reason I asked is I wanted to see these fish climbing out of the water.
Yeah, it was a bit of a spectacle. I won't ever forget the 1.2 kilo one. It wasn't just like its whole back out of the water or its shoulders. Its whole head was out of the water. It was like a GT trying to bomb this lure.
So good.
The fact that it did it 3 or 4 times before it actually got it in its mouth. So yeah, it was pretty cool to watch.
Right. And at the end of the day, did it end up as a good hookup? Like, was it well hooked when you got it in?
Yeah, it wasn't going anywhere. It could have sat in the weed for an hour and the hooks would have still been in it. It was the only way that fish wasn't going to get landed was if it got tangled in the weed.
Yeah, fair enough. I must admit, I could hear some noises before and I just saw a chook walk across behind both of you.
Oh, yes. There's a few roaming chickens.
Fair enough. All right. So look, you're in second place overnight. What was your preparation? What was your talk, on the Saturday night?
I mean, the talk was just to do the exact same thing. One of the main reasons we wanted to commit to fishing the harbour was there's a massive tide. So 0.11 in the morning on day one. And then at midnight that night, it was 1.15. So over a metre of movement is huge for Albany. It is a massive tide. So with that, we were hoping the fish would replenish, and we were thinking that it would be, one of the key areas where we would be able to fish the exact same areas 2 days in a row and hopefully get the same quality of fish. The wind conditions on day 2 were up. It was meant to be a glass off in the morning, going to about 30 km an hour southwesterly winds, which is common for Albany in the summer.
Yeah.
And it was already probably would have been about 10 to 15 k's an hour in the mornings.
Okay.
So we knew that we were going to get a window in the morning for surface, and we just went straight back to our same areas, doing the exact same thing, same lures, and it was just rinse and repeat, basically.
Okay. And how did it come off? Tell us about the day.
So we started second. I was a bit stressed, thinking other people that were in the running for first place might be trying to do something a bit different today on day 2.
Sure.
So I thought we'd see more boat traffic and maybe not people intending to fish similar areas, but just being around. And I thought that could impact what we were doing. And I was wrong. It was, shout out to all the other competitors. They literally left us alone. So there were still people fishing the oyster racks.
Yeah.
And there were people around in general, but no one was trying to replicate what we did on day 1, which was pretty cool. So started second, drove straight over there. I'd say probably 4 or 5 other boats went to the oyster rack, so they went past us and went into the oyster racks. And we actually, it was pretty funny. So before we sort of started getting our fish, we heard Dowley screaming. We were probably 400 metres away from him, and he'd clearly just caught his big fish out of the racks. But all we could hear was him screaming at the top of his lungs in just such a good mood. We couldn't make out what he was saying, but I'm pretty certain it was just all good things. Later on, obviously, I caught up with him and found out that's exactly when he'd put that fish in the boat. So that was actually a pretty big highlight of the day, was hearing Dowley being so stoked.
Absolutely. I mean, that was a cracking fish of 1.57. And to put that into context, his and Oliver's bag on the Saturday, his total bag was 1.78.
Yeah.
So it was almost a full bag from day one.
So, I mean, day two, obviously, we did manage to clue in on the pattern a little bit more. And I think day two was just bigger fish. So day one was just 30 forkers everywhere. Like, we probably put 60 fish in the boat on day one that were all legal. Like, it seriously just going off.
Yeah, wow.
Day two, it definitely wasn't slower, but there was just a better quality of fish around.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it would have been probably 9 o'clock and we'd had another bag of 30 forkers. And then over the next hour or two, we just kept upgrading. And it just worked as a team. You know, if I was hooked up to a good fish, Rory was straight there on the net or on the lecky, especially as the wind started to come up. And then, you know, vice versa. If he was hooked up, I was straight on the net, you know, ready to get that fish in. I think I got a 40 forker around 9 o'clock. So that one was our biggest bream on day two, which was 1.05 kilos.
Yeah.
Again, I think that one was on a bent minnow. We were basically, I was cycling bent minnows and sugar pens, and Rory stayed on the slippery dog for the whole day, pretty much until we couldn't fish it in the wind. And then, we picked up 40 forker, a 40 tipper, another 35 forker, and then it got to probably lunchtime. I'm going to say 11:30. I got another opportunity at another real good fish. Wasn't as big as Dowley's was ever going to be, but it was still a good fish. But the wind had come up and the boat was drifting over it really quickly. So I went pretty hard on it, and I shouldn't have. But when you're in the moment, the adrenaline's pumping, we've already got a good bag. To have another 40-plus centimetre fish in that bag, it's just the icing on the cake. I went a little bit too hard as the boat drifted over it, trying to keep it on the downwind side of the boat instead of letting it go under the boat and fighting with either the outboard or the lecky. And, pulled hooks. So that was our last opportunity at a big upgrade, but we didn't need it in the end. But
yeah, not by a long shot. With that, so you said the wind was up. Were you doing like long cast with the wind? Is that how you used it? Were you a crosswind, or how'd that look?
So fishing surface in the wind is always difficult, and we pretty much just went to the point of doing long casts with the wind. Had a few electric motor issues, so spot lock wasn't working.
Yeah.
Then just committed to the drift. So at that point, we almost didn't need a lecky. The little sand edge and the sand holes that we were wanting to fish, you could line them up as a drift and cast a big long cast in 30 km/h winds. You're casting so far.
Yeah.
So we knew what ground we wanted to be over, and
Okay. And then in terms of, was it like on the Saturday, you said you kind of working the lure fast until you'd see some action and then you'd kind of know when to pause? Was it the same sort of setup on the Sunday?
No, with the wind on day two, it was just keep moving it. Just don't stop. The second that they see it, they're just climbing over it. So make lots of casts, quite a fast retrieve. I went up to throwing a Megabass Dog X Junior because of the weight that it throws. And I got some really good takes on it, but no commitments. So then we were back to sugar pens and slippery dogs.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Sounds like a great day on the water. So you obviously knew you had a good bag. What were you thinking as the day sort of ended up? You're thinking, we need another one, we've got this, what's going on?
It's always hard. I mean, Alex was leading. So Alex Griesdorf Ben Oakes, they're two very good fishermen, and being in first place is almost at home for them.
Yeah.
So you can never count them out. And I fished Albany a lot, and I knew that they'd be in the Calgan, and I didn't believe that it could produce 2 days in a row, not in the conditions and tides that we had. So, I mean, I weigh everything on my own scales in the boat to make culling a lot easier. And we made a lot of 10, 20 gram upgrades.
Yeah.
You know, especially when we only had bags of 30s. Every fish, you get one and you're looking at it going, is this fatter than the other one? And you just don't have to question it. you just weigh it and it's either bigger or it's not. But there's no question marks really. So I already knew that we had at least 3.3 kilos on day 2. And I said to Rory, I was like, it's enough. We've just got to be confident in what we've done and be happy with the result that we get. About 12:30, the wind just kept coming up and it was essentially blowing directly into where we were. And I just lost a bit of confidence in getting back on time. I didn't really know how long it would take to punch back in the wind. And I wasn't the biggest fan of just sending it. I didn't really want to go 30, 35 k an hour headwind blasting straight into it at 30 knots. So we decided just to cruise back. We got back to Emu Point about 1 o'clock, so an hour early. And we just beached the front of the boat and just stayed there with the live well running. We were content with the effort we put in, and fishing in that heavy wind out in the open harbour, we were quite physically exhausted, by the end of it. So
yeah, fair enough. I mean, you had a pretty good bag, and instead of weighing 3.3, you end up with 3.52, which is obviously a cracking bag, and only topped by, I think Joseph got 3.55, or was it Callum?
So it would have been Michael.
Michael, sorry.
Yeah, they came back with a stonking bag. It was awesome, actually, just to see this quality of fish. Obviously, we've both grown up down here. We know what calibre of fish are available to be caught in these southern systems. So it was good to see that it wasn't just us. It was other people getting good quality fish as well.
Yeah, and also the hardest thing about that is trying to string it together on a comp day. Like often you can go out and smack them when it's pre-fish or 3 weeks out. Comp day comes around, you can't find them.
Yeah, for sure. And I think not having a game plan from a pre-fish probably helped.
Okay.
A lot of this was just put down to prior knowledge.
Sure.
So, sometimes you do go and have a pre-fish, and because it's a pre-fish, you're hunting around so many different areas, and it can really give you a false game plan for a comp day when you've got another 20 boats of very good anglers looking for those same fish.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else that we've missed with the fishing? Is there anything else we should talk about before we move on?
I don't know.
I think basically from what you guys say, it's pretty much for you guys, it was a surface bite, a mix of bent minnows, ziggies, sugar pens, slippery dogs. That sound about right?
Pretty much. I mean, we did throw a whole arsenal. Like, there were times where we got like a half an hour window of no bites or no action. And we did make changes. We were throwing, rolling cranks. We were throwing shallow diving chubbies, jerk baits, sprats, like so many other lures that were perfect for the scenario, but they just weren't getting the action.
Sure.
So then we just found that we just kept coming back to surface, and it just seemed to be the key.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. In this one, you end up coming back in first place. Tell us, what did you get to take home for first place?
So first place paid out 1,500 cash. So that was quite handy. Serrano Marine up in Malaga, they're one of our sponsors as well. So they had gift vouchers there. So we took home $200 in Serrano Marine vouchers. So that'll go towards servicing the boat. And
absolutely.
Then Laurens obviously jumped on board for the grand finals. So we had an FS Elite, a 9-inch one, as the boat grand final first place prize. To top that off as well, Complete Angler Netherlands, they sponsor the boats. They sponsor all the big bream prizes. So for the grand final, there was $500, $250 per day. So Rory took home $250 from Complete Angler Netherlands for his 1.2 kilo fish. And then Dowley definitely took it home for the day too. So
that's right. Out of interest, do you know what he caught it on?
I think it was on his new Muss. It might have been his new Little Muss V2 or his original Muss V2.
Okay.
But yeah, you definitely have to flick him a message and confirm. But
yeah, I might.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good story to tell about it as well. So yeah, definitely catch up with him.
Yeah, I might. As I record this, I might reach out to him and see if he wants to jump on for a couple of minutes.
Yeah. we live streamed the weigh-in, so even if he doesn't have a chance to jump on, he's got a pretty good story from the weigh-in of landing that fish and how it all unfolded. So
it's very, very good. All right. That's it for your prize. That covers all your prizes and what have you?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that was everything. Oh, and trophies, obviously. It was quite fitting because I designed our new trophies for this year. So
I'd see that.
I was pretty happy to keep them. I really wanted to keep them.
How good is that? All right. Well, look, last thing before we shoot off, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Obviously the boys that run the events. I do all the media and help out as much as I can, but there's quite a few of us that are the backbone of it. And just the amount of time, their own personal time that goes into the events. So yeah, thanks to all the West Australian tournament anglers boys. And then obviously the sponsors and the competitors. So we wouldn't be able to run these events without the competitors. So everyone that competes, whether they qualified in the grand final or not, even if they just fish one event, it's still all goes towards the sport. And then, yeah, the sponsors. This year's been awesome. Like, our sponsors have been so on board and so involved. And I'm not going to be able to remember them all off the top of my head. But the big one for the grand final for the WA Bream series was Atomic. It's their series for the year. And Tackle West were the sponsor for the grand final. But Rory and I obviously spend a lot of money on tackle, and a lot of that money gets spent in Tackle West and Complete Angler Netherlands. So the boys in there always look after us. Another big one is actually Smith Optics. We get those through a shop in Perth called Fly Fishing Outfitters. So Angus always looks after us. Mm-hmm. Fishing surface for this comp. It was sunny, high light, super glary water, like crystal clear. Being able to see fish and knowing what ones we're committing and whether they're a big fish or not from the get-go. So that was a big key. Oh, and obviously the rants, the new sounder on the boat's going to be nice.
100%. All right. Very good, guys. Look, that's a great story and a cracking bag. Well, congratulations for taking out the final. Yeah, good luck in the upcoming year.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I look forward to more interviews next year.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Have a good night.
Cheers. You too.
Thank you.
All right. So that's good to go. All right. So here we have something just a little bit different, just a little cameo interview here. With me, I've got an angler who caught the big bream for the competition, which was a cracking fish of 1.57. And he's been on the show a couple of times before. With me, I have Callum Dowell. Welcome back to the show, mate.
Oh, yeah, great to be here for the little cameo and another fourth place finish. So I'm on the show again for fourth. So
How good's that? Mate, but the reason I reached out to you is this is a really standout fish for over there or anywhere really. And I thought it'd be good to jump on and have a chat with you and see how you went about catching this fish.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, it'd be good to get it on the camera because, yeah, I can't stop thinking about how I caught it. So, yeah, I want to share it with everyone, basically.
All right. Well, let's set the scene. Just give us a little bit of a lead up to catching the fish and then run us through how it all played out.
Yeah, it was pretty early in the morning. I think it was about 8:30, 8:45. So we went over to our first spot, which was the Eastern Flats Flip Farm oyster racks. They're basically the only oyster racks you could fish on that morning because the tide was so low. And they're in about 1 to 1.3 metres of water with like a weed bed underneath. And we went over there and there was 6 other teams within that area. So there's probably only about 10 racks you could actually fish. So we were side by side going up the rails together, but we were all catching fish, so it didn't really bother me too much. And then one by one team started to kind of peel off and go up the river or wherever they're going. But we had our eye on a certain little run that the day before I saw an absolute monster come out from my lure and basically nose it and didn't hit the hooks. So
you basically had a bunch of teams around you.
Yeah, one by one they kind of peeled off and went to other locations. And then, yeah, we had our eye on one of those lines from the day before, which saw some big fish, had some big fish come up and nose our lures, and they just would not commit. So, but they didn't fill hooks. So we went back to that area and I caught a 35 tipper, and that was our biggest fish for the competition so far. So pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
And then next cast, I flicked in there the black orange 2.0 lure muss, so the slow sinking little muss, weighs 2 grams.
Yeah.
And it just got whacked within this 2 inches of sinking.
Right.
I loaded up on it and it came out, and I just said, Oliver, this is one of those massive ones that we saw the day before. And it came out, it did an arc around the boat, and we saw how big it was. And I kind of wish I didn't see how big it was, because I knew it hadn't taken any drag just yet, and I was using 4 pound. And then it just went for a 30-odd metre run under all the floating wraps.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it just took off, and I'm just sitting there with my rod in one position, because I've pulled hooks in the oyster racks a lot of the times before on those size 16 trebles. If you move your rod around too much during the fight, you just kind of loosen it out of their gob.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of locked with the rod on my right side and just kind of buffering everything like that and keeping it in the same position as well, trying not to lift it up or down. And then momentarily I had it hooked up, and I just thought it was on a bit of weed, so I kind of horsed it to get it out of the weed, or what I thought was the weed, and it just head shook, and I just felt it come up.
Oh.
And the fight was still on, and then it arced around the same angle from the boat that it did previously, the 3 or 4 metres out on the surface, arcing around. It got close enough, and I said to Oliver, like, it'll come to you, mate. Don't reach for the fish. And it was bad timing, because it was coming to me, and then it turned on its side and he went for it, and he basically just hit the fish. And I thought it was done, because, as soon as you get a hook caught in those fine mesh nets, it's all over. You just rip the hooks out of their mouth. But luckily, it missed the net. The hooks missed the net, and we got it on the second attempt.
Right.
But it was an absolute beast. It was my biggest fish in a competition. It was just under 48 centimetres, around 44 fork.
Wow.
And it was just one of those big fish that's just spawned up river. It's probably a 2 kilo fish any other time of the year.
Yeah.
And then it's come out of the river and just sat under the oyster racks to regenerate. That's what I believe they do, the big ones, and they just are so residential. They'll sit under the same spot.
Yeah.
For a month or two before they're kind of regenerated and fed up, and they kind of move on from there.
Right. When you got it in the net, what was the hookup like? How were the hooks in?
I've got a great mental snapshot of it, and the muscle looked like a Tic Tac. It just had these big blue lips, and it was kind of pinned like inside the lip, and then the other hook was underneath. It was a really weird hookup. Yeah, so it was like, it was inside the mouth, but on a 45-degree angle. It wasn't coming off.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it wasn't coming. So, it was. But I just had that 5 to 10 seconds of just got the pliers, got it out, smashed it in the live well, and then I just sat there for a good 5, 6, 7 minutes. I just couldn't move. I couldn't believe how big it was. Initially I thought it was 50 centimetres.
Yep.
But then kind of looking in the well, I actually called it for 48. I was like, I reckon it's 48. And Oliver kind of agreed. But, we just – a bit stressful having a big fish like that in the live well for 5 or 6 hours. So, we just kept the live well running the whole time basically. And I'm a bit of a – when the live well sound is on all the time and it's really clear and calm conditions, I feel a bit like I'm letting my guard down.
Sure.
But – not on this occasion. I didn't really care if we caught another fish or not. I just wanted to get that one into the live, into the weigh-in,
100%. Just tell me one last thing on the capture. Tell me what happened immediately after you put it in the net.
Oh, mate, I reckon I lost my voice. I screamed so loud. And I sat in the cockpit of the boat in a little ball.
So good.
But just my legs were shaking, and I don't think a fish could do that to a man, but yeah, it did it to me. And I know Dave and Rory heard me from a long way away where they were on the front over the back. Yeah.
They did say that, mate. And look, before we shoot off, just tell us again. Tell us what your whole setup was for that fish.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was using braid. I think I used the 12-pound goosen, B hard braid, and I was just using a 4-pound Yamatoya leader. And my rod was probably an in-feet EX. I'm pretty sure, probably 7 foot. And the reel was a Shimano Vanford brand newy, which it was good because the drag's so silky smooth on a brand new reel and felt very in control.
Very good. And the lure was the lightweight mini muss.
Yeah, that's it. The little muss 2.0.
Muss. Okay.
But I think the main reason I was using it is I was sitting right under the bags, but the tide and the wind were quite strong. But the more hang time, I reckon, was key on that day.
Yeah, very good. All right, mate. Look, thanks for jumping on, and congratulations on such a cracking fish. And mate, we'll get you in the show next year for on the podium. How about that?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Good on you, mate. Thank you.
Good on you. Thanks, Andrew.
Okay, so there you have it, everybody. A 1.57 coming out of Western Australia. Now, I think in the time that I've been reviewing this, I think that's the biggest bream that we've had weighed in a comp. Obviously, a big bream in any system, but particularly good to see it coming in from over there. I hope you enjoyed that. If you're looking for a little bit more, jump onto the Collective or the Vault. We've got a bunch of stuff going on there. As you'll all be aware, I have released an absolute ton of episodes lately with a few more to get through the backlog, and then we'll kind of be up to date and start moving forward into the lure fishing project itself with just a little bit of a change to the format. I've got a trout episode lined up. I've got a jewfish episode. I've got a flathead episode. So there's a bunch of stuff getting through the content that's already here. So I hope you've been enjoying it. I appreciate you guys listening right to the end, and I'll talk to you next time on the Lure Fishing Project.
Thanks for listening to the Lure Fishing Project. For extra episodes, the Big Bream series and more, join us at the Lure Fishing Project Collective. We'll catch you next time.